I use AEO up 25%. American Eagle Outfitters exploded after hours on earnings. They did two major ad campaigns that turned the company around, and the growth is substantial. One, obviously, with this actress, and the other with Kansas City tight end, Mr. Taylor Swift. Go Birds. But in all seriousness, this was the driver, hands down. And when you start looking at these results, they're absolutely staggering. American Eagles Outfitters trading higher, company better than expected. Understatement. You were looking for 20 cents. You came in at 45 cents. Now, just keep in mind, this has only been going on for a few weeks. It has been a full month, but it depends on how they book it too. But they were expecting a massive decline, and they're actually only declining by 1% now. So that just shows the amount of speed that this has, not to mention the amount of people that are short this name. But if we take a look, and we're just going to do a cursory view and then get all into the meat. But the sales right here, it's absolutely staggering what they're doing. If you just take a look at a couple things, 103, 128, like just crushing, 238, reducing shares by 20 million. They're out there in the open market buying their own shares. This is what I've been saying about these names. If you watched any of these past videos, these XLY, XRT names are trading at 7, 8 times earnings when the market's trading at 22. It makes 0 sense. And it's just a really huge anomaly. We saw this in 2023 with the regional banks. Net revenue was only down 1%. So they're buying their own stock in the open market. Their gross margins are actually going up by 30 basis points. Merchandise margins are up by 50 basis points. It's pretty impressive, the entire quarter all the way around. Your operating margins expanded by 20 basis points to 8%. Diluted earnings per share were up 45 versus last year, they're up 15%. So on the same, just to be clear about this, revenue, total net was down 1%, but based upon the way that these deals are structured, 45 cents, up 15% on earnings on the same revenue number, which just means the margins are just so much better. They're expanding their margins, which actually alludes to PE growth. If you connect this, and I'll show you where the stock is in a second again, but you're trading at 8 times earnings. And it's worth reiterating, they're in there in the open market buying their own stock back. They don't have to do that. And they're not in any type of danger because they're already out there and they're paying quarterly dividends. Companies that pay quarterly dividends, they would rally the wagons and not pay the dividend. They're paying the dividend and they're trading at single-digit PE. Now, the exact opposite of this would be Salesforce. And the thing I want to put about Salesforce before we take a look at the chart here is just why is it down? Because we can see the beats right here, and this is what we call painting the tape. This is what it's called. So we come out there and we have a good number, and then we talk about how great things are, and that we're going to come in and we're going to raise the lower end. And this is why it's so important to pay attention to where you get your data from when someone tells you that they beat. Because then they just slip in here a minute later, literally like 30 seconds later. By the way, GAAP, actual accounting, we're going to be at 160 to 162 versus 180. You can actually see where the stock starts to turn. So in the community, when we're trading these after hours trades, you can see I bought a starter, 250, and I'm just showing this from a timestamp. And then you just have to deal with my typing and the caps because it is what it is. But once I saw the gap and you know how to read a balance sheet, you knew you had a major problem. I kicked it immediately right on this bar, and you can see you've never closed over this bar. It's really important to understand fundamental analysis. It's why I always talk about the stool. But let's get into the details now. Hey everybody, if you enjoyed this clip and you want to watch the full video, just click right here.